Hello everyone and welcome to my new video on creating a software engineering resume. Now this video is slightly different from one I made a couple of days ago on the resume that got me into software as a high school student. This video will be mainly focusing on my current resume, and we will be going through Google Docs and actually writing a resume for just a John Doe kind of person so that I can kind of show you at least the process that I went through when I was creating my resume. So that's pretty much all I got planned for the video, and we'll see how that goes on. Now I will see you on my computer. Okay, so we are now here on my computer, and I just am going to create some simple notes to kind of go over. Now, when creating a software engineering resume, there are a variety of sections that you can add. And you don't necessarily have to add all of these, but most of them are generally standard. So of course you want to have a work experience section, and you may not have this, so of course if you don't have it, you can't add it. You want an education section, you want a skills section. Another section that might work is sometimes a volunteer section. Yeah, sometimes a volunteer section is good, maybe a interests/hobbies. Sometimes, again, these are all not necessarily required, but you'll generally have a good portion of these on your actual resume. Let me just look at here for some inspiration. Yeah, that's about it for the, oh yeah, no, of course, no, never mind. Projects, of course, is the main section. And then, you know, of course, you can have leadership, entrepreneurship, like experience. You know, of course you can have like kind of supplemental experience if these are relevant to what you're applying for. And you know, these are just some basic sections. I think I might have been missing one thing. Nope, looks like I have everything. So yeah, these are some kind of standard sections. Not all of them, like not every resume will have an interests hobbies section. Not every resume will have these sections. Of course, if you don't have work experience, again, you won't have this. And depending on your situation, you might not even have an education section either. Now, of course, a skill section is very standard. Like I have never seen a resume or a software resume without it. And then a volunteer section is also non-standard. Like some people have it, some people won't. Now, generally, it depends which sections you show and which sections you prioritize on your resume will be dependent on who you are. Now, of course, if you are a student, so kind of let's create a little section here, resume priorities, and then let's just upsize this a bit and bold it. So yeah, resume priorities. As a student, you're going to prioritize generally your education, if applicable, or if, like, no, education if you're a student, and then your skills and your projects. Now, actually, if I have to rank these, let me go ahead and just say right now, let's go ahead and rank your education, your projects, and your skills will be ranked like that. Generally as a, and actually let's go ahead and add previous internship experience slash, yeah, internship or previous related work experience if applicable. So yeah, we want to add this if applicable. Let me go ahead and just standardize the formatting here. So yeah, that is if you are a student. Now, of course, if you are a coming from a non-technical background, again, again, this is pretty much standard there. And of course, you want to emphasize your projects then and your skills again. Now, projects are very, very important, especially if you have a non-technical background, and for students, projects are very important. Because basically, on top of, you know, depending, this education and projects are kind of tied. Yeah, these two sections are kind of tied, and it really depends on your own situation. If you have a really good school here, especially like, you know, you're talking like MIT, if you have a really, really good engineering school, then 100% I would prioritize that over your projects as a student. But generally, these kind of, you know, it depends on which one's more impressive in your view. If you go to a really good school, then, you know, education may be more impressive to employers. Projects may also be more impressive if you have some killer projects. So again, use these lists at your own discretion. Like this isn't the absolute list to follow. And then of course, coming from a technical background, you just want to, of course, emphasize your work experience. And generally, this is the biggest section on someone who's already a software engineer. Work experience will be the biggest section on your resume. And then, of course, your skills comes next in this case once you have work experience. Technical background with work experience. And then you want to emphasize maybe your projects at that point. And then, these are just standard sections. So standard sections. And, sorry, excuse the weird formatting. I like capitalizing a lot of things, but then I guess I don't all the time, like here. So whatever. We'll just leave it as is. So yeah, these are kind of the three main categories. And of course, if you're in a different situation, you may have a different list of priorities. And even if you do fall in one of these situations, you may want to reorder this list a little bit. This is kind of just a, in resume priorities, in my opinion. Whoops. Kind of thing, and that's really important. Whoops. Like that. So yeah, this is the priorities of stuff. So now when you actually go about writing, let's go ahead and reference my resume a little bit. I will be referencing this as I write the John Doe resume up here. But of course, if we take a look at the main sections here, we just have the header section. We have my name, and then we have my contact information. And then once you come here, we have my work experience again, because if we come look here, I am technically a technical background with work experience and a student both. But of course my situation is special because I am a high school student. So I would generally say this is generally college/university. Generally this is for a college/university student, is where you would emphasize maybe your education. So I technically fall under here, and I emphasize my work experience, as you can see right here, and I emphasize my skills. And I am using a 2-column layout for my resume. It's not necessary. You could use a 1-column layout. It's really up to you on how you like the styling. So again, I'm emphasizing skills and work experience, just like I say here. And then projects come in third place, coming right here. And then, of course, again, like I said, when you are a technical background, work experience will take up a large portion of your resume. And for me, it takes up a fourth of my resume. As one section. And of course I have a ton of other sections that kind of take up smaller portions. But that is because I technically have had 2 official positions and 1 non-official position as sort of just a software developer contractor. So yeah, that is my work experience. And then I have my education here. I prioritize it a little bit, pursuing an associate's, and then just my high school and my certificate, which I do have. If you have any extra qualifications like that, it might be useful to put. And then here I have my volunteer experience, kid by kid. I do math tutoring, so I just have that here at the bottom. And then, of course, I emphasize my skills, my technical skills, and then I put some soft skills. And, some people don't like this section. It's whatever. It's dependent on what you want to do. And, of course, I have leadership here as listed as the first skill, and I kind of emphasize that down here. So I have my projects really quick, my portfolio website, and some 2 cool programs I made. And then I have my leadership here because I lead the entrepreneurship club at my school, and then I am also a leader on our robotics team. So I have all of that here. Now when we come here to create our John Doe resume, let's create a simple, this is not going to be as kind of, big as my other one, but let's just create John Doe, simple John Doe. And then, like I said, let's just say John Doe is a student, because, I guess that would be one of the common places where people are looking how to create resumes. So John Doe is a student. Sometimes you may want to put your line of technical work, like just iOS engineer or something, but I don't. If I did put mine, I would put full stack developer or something like that. Something along those lines. You don't have to put it. You could just put your name, and then we'll just say, as a subheading here, we'll just say john.doe@example.com, and then we'll put 619 0000000, and then we can put more contact info here depending on how much you want to put there. And then of course we want to create our first section would be work experience. Or as a student, actually, it would be, since let's just say John Doe doesn't have work experience, we would want to put projects first. Remember, we take a look at our list here, or education, actually. It really depends, to be honest. Let's go ahead and say education, and then let's say, let's bold this section, or you can do whatever formatting you want. Just figure out what looks good to you. And then we could say, I'm great at spelling. Toot, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and we can say like, Bachelor's of Science, or we could even say BS Computer Science, or I think it is B.S. Not sure the formatting actually. But I'll just leave it like that. BS in Computer Science, and then we can just say 2016 through 2020. So yeah, we can just put a quick education thing there, and then we can toss on a projects, and then let's go ahead and just say projects, and let's just say John Doe, has done at some point did an MIT hackathon. And then, you could say, in small text, you could say, built a blah, blah, blah program in, that does at the MIT hackathon, and then just more filler text, like more text here describing what you did, or what was done, and how it was accomplished, like really accomplished. And really, again, this is just like a time for a bunch of MIT hackathon project, and then you can say X project, Y project. So again, you, especially as a kind of beginner with no work experience, you want to have probably at least like 4 projects with a bunch of stuff, and they generally, you want them to be kind of useful projects, like big things that you've built that actually took you some time. A hackathon can be done in 24 hours, 48 hours, depends. But these other projects, if they're not hackathon based, generally you will spend a couple of days to a couple of weeks on building these projects. And these really are the shining star of your resume as a student without work experience. Education, some companies will take a risk on you, but again, projects are a real way to kind of show this is who I am, and these are my skills, and this is what I've built. And this is probably the best gauge of your ability at a lower level. Now again, you can put your skills here now, and then let's just throw skills. And then we can just say, we can list them out here. We can just say C/C++, JavaScript, TypeScript, Node.js, React Native, blah, blah, blah. It's just depending on what skills John Doe has, or you have, for example. You would put that there and maybe list out, maybe do more elaboration in smaller text. And that's really up to you. So, I mean, this has kind of just been the basic kind of just going through creating a simple resume on Word or on Google Docs. Of course, you can create a 2-column layout like me and go file, I think it's file page setup, and then, yeah, like this. You can do that, and then you can do format columns, and then create 2 columns or 3 columns. Again, you can just create whatever format you want, but use this as sort of a kind of basic guide, and actually I will probably create a link to this and share it with you in the description for that, so that you can kind of see a simple document, kind of resume guide for this. So yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and check out my kind of tech/career playlist, which is on my channel, where I talk about random topics in tech, like creating resumes or networking as a software engineer, or just, what programming languages should you learn, things that are generally related to tech but are not necessarily my programming tutorials, which I produce every day. And if you do want to see those, I also am making those on my channel. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.